Hello, I'm Jesse McCready. I'm with AniModule. Check out my modules at AniModule.com. What you see here, a screenshot of the panel layout for the line amp PCB. Today, we're all grown up. We're going to cut a new stencil for the surface mount part of this. This is the old one. You notice there are no holes for the header in there. See, these are holes for the header. I've been squeezing the solder paste in with a syringe. I don't like doing that. So I'm going to cut a new stencil. It's going to be exactly the same as this, only there's going to be more holes. So you can see here, I got this up in KiCad. You go to the high contrast display mode, hit front paste. It shows you where the solder paste holes will be. See, the headers are lit up in red as well as the SMD pads. Alright, you take that and you convert it to Gerber files. Where'd they go? Come here. Here's copper cam. So I bring the front paste file over to copper cam. What's it called? The GTP. Alright, and we go through. You mark out the pads that you want to machine for a stencil. I already have the settings right. Use a 0.7mm end mill. I mark it at 0.8 so that it cuts it a little smaller. There's a little trick for you. You got the speeds and everything set up. And you hit OK, and then it writes it over to G code, and then you look through and make sure that it's not going to run into anything. And I'll meet you over at the mill. Alright, we're going to make a quick little pit stop before we get to the that would be cutting the actual stencil. Here's the setup. We got Mach 3 here. We're gonna cut it out of this piece of aluminum, otherwise known as flashing. I just picked this roll up at the local big box hardware store. Cut it with this old bastard here, and then stick it in the mill and clamp it down. Okay, I'm over at the mill. We've got the piece in here. The most difficult part, and this is clamping it down properly. I've got these little pieces of aluminum angle I cut down. I have these dogs down in the T-slots clamped down and sort of leveled up. I took this piece and stretched it as tight as it'll go. Still not perfect. Oh, look like we gotta tighten this one down. It's still not perfect because the bed isn't perfect. The bed is out of whack, and it just is. So I just have to account for that. When you tighten them down, you want to take your piece and pull it and put tension on it. You know, the more stretched out you can stretch it, then the better. And you want to tighten it down, but you don't want to bend your dogs. So, alright, and I've got a little end mill here. I made it out of a broken end mill. There's a 0.7mm end mill that, or drill. It was a 0.7mm drill that busted because it's too small to use anyway. So I took it and I grinded the tip and made it more like an end mill. Let's set the... This is just how I'm going to zero it. And then I have to adjust it once it starts running anyway. Because... Alright, just wait till this cigarette paper touches and Z0. And we're going to reference it all at home, so if it goes to sleep and wakes up, it still knows where it's at. Alright. And another thing I like to do is, I think I just blocked you. Drill a little reference hole, just in case. Oh, I think I broke it. Oh no, I just broke through. Alright, good. I just drill a little reference hole in case it all goes to shit, then I got somewhere to 0, 2. So, I hope you can't see my greasy old face in here. Well, let me get her started. I'll turn it on. So, you know, I got this plexiglass cover I put in front of it, and it's filthy. And the reason for that is because I don't have to explain myself to you. And I don't know how well you can see that. We'll find out. Well, let me get her going. And she seems to be chirping along all right, as far as I can tell. You see through this plexiglass. Here, let's remove it. I'll give you a little bit of a closer shot. I guess that's as close as she's getting. But it's tedious. I had to stop it and readjust the height. There's not a whole lot of margin for error with this tiny little cutter. So, but we'll get there. It's a labor of love. Looks like I got the height adjusted properly now. And now it's just waiting and watching. You always keep an eye on the line where it's 53.75 and everything looks good so far. That way if you lose your attention and get distracted for a minute and come back, it hasn't cut through a bunch of pieces. You don't have to scroll back through the whole program. Just write down the line numbers as they go by and they're good from time to time. Go by pretty fast, so right here I missed a pad. It didn't cut through all the way. I had to go back through the code and look for an X and a Y coordinate in the same line of G code. That ended up being 300 lines of code back. You gotta set it to run from there and adjust the Z height. That's the thing with this little cutter. If I used that's why I used a broken off modified drill bit. If you use a long one, it wants to flex. There's a lot of deflection on that sticky aluminum and that tiny little 0.7 of a millimeter drill bit. There's not a lot of margin for error. So you want to break it off, leave just enough to punch through the aluminum and give you a little bit of margin of error for digging into the aluminum substrate, the sacrificial plate underneath it there. But like I said, you're constantly weighing the deflection versus rigidity and your margin of error. So if you break it off too short and you just use a point or a pyramid, then when it gets down wide on the lower parts of the bed, it cuts your pad too wide, and then you get solder paste slopping around on stuff. So, but again, I only got to make this once. Well, knock on wood, once for now. So, where are we at? Let's double check I got everything. 5330. Set next line. Z is set properly. Come on, baby. And then I gotta go through a few pads before we get back to this pad in the front here. Alright. And here we go. We are on the last header, I believe. So, get this focus in. Ta-da! $14,600 lines of code, give or take. We'll focus in on this. Look at the moving part. There you go. And there we have it. So I turn this off. Get her out of the way. And then before I pull her up, I give her a good inspection. Alright, she looks good. Gotta take her off, hit her with a little fine grit sandpaper. Oh, look at that. See, there's a pad. Didn't get drilled through. That's it's got a pretty good start though. So I'll just take a real small end mill, 0.8 millimeter or something, and poke it through there. And that's what I used to clean the solder out of obstinate pads. Just keep one handy. Keep it on the rest for the soldering iron. And there you have it. Here is the template for the stencil. Stencil for the line amp PCB. And that's how it happens. And there it is. The stencil for the line amp front panel. Got it here. Got it sanded with some 400 grit sandpaper. Cleaned it all up real good with some alcohol. Take all to degrease it. So just got it taped here for this temporary use. Eventually I'll put it in a frame like this. And she's ready to go. So put this across here. Think maybe this is a little past its prime. Seriously, I think you're supposed to keep it in the refrigerator. Well, it's $3 a container, so. And you just work the solder paste in here. Hold it down nice and steady. So it should warm this up a little bit. Make sure the PCB does not move while you're doing it. And I believe that's it. And if you miss a pad or two, you can always... Oh, that's the wrong syringe. There you go. No, that's the right one. You always touch it up with the little syringe here. So. And then you spread that on your toast. It's health food. Get your vitamins and minerals. Alright, I'm Jesse McCready. I'm with AniModule. Check out my modules at animodule.com. Thanks for hanging out.